Welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And today we once again gonna go through the best book bits summary of Ryan Holiday's. I don't remember what it is called, to be honest. What is it called? We Are Afraid to Believe. Courage is Calling. Fortune Favors the Brave. By New York Times bestselling author Ryan Holiday. Do you have to say this as well? I don't know. I guess it's appropriate. So where have I left on fear decipher? We are afraid to believe. We don't believe in anything. It becomes very hard to find anything worth believing in. Let me actually check something rather quickly. Filter. Let's just get this shit out of the window. Yeah. I guess it is finer. I don't know. If we don't believe in anything, it becomes very hard to find anything worth believing in. We make our nihilism true, just as we do when we buy the lie that we have no agency, or alternatively, that while we don't control what has happened, we do control what we happen to respond. If you fear that there isn't anything you can do, chances are you will do nothing. Well, yeah, at least you can change the way you think about things, which is, as far as I remember, is it something that Viktor Frankl said? I don't really remember, unfortunately. But anyway, you will always be nothing, protected, self-justifying nothing. The brave don't despair, they believe. They are not cynical, they care. They think there is stuff worth dying for. That good and evil exist. They know that life has problems, but would rather be part of the solution than a bystander. Don't fear decisions. There is a story about a Spartan king who was marching across Greece. As he entered each new country, he sent envoys to ask whether he should be prepared to treat them as friends or enemies. Most of the nations decided quickly, and most of them chose friendship. But one king wanted to think about his option, because he was afraid of committing. So he thought and he thought and he thought until it was chosen for him. Let him consider it then, the frustrated Spartan general said as he fixed his jaw, while we just march on. As the song goes, even if you choose not to decide, even if you put things off, you still have made a choice. You're voting for the status quo, you're voting to let them decide, you are voting to give up your own agency. Yeah, in the end, we are, I would say, we are always making decisions. There's always something that we do. There is not doing nothing. We are always doing something. As well as there is no communication. We are always communicating. Also, by not communicating in the literal sense, we are communicating. Definitely something to think about. Definitely something to consider. But yes, I, for example, made the choice of, I don't know, what haven't I done today? Maybe tidying up. This was my decision not to tidy up my fucking room. On one hand, on the other hand, I could have also said, well, I decided to record now. I decided to brush my teeth. I decided to do sports and so on and so forth. It really depends on how you think about things. Don't fear decisions. Because it is interesting, don't fear decisions because you are always doing or making decisions anyway. When you're not deciding on anything, you're still deciding on something. You can't put your safety first. It is risky to try to make the future in business. The strategist Peter Drucker, who has written an incredible book, I think about corporate leadership, as far as I remember, but I don't. Has written, but it's riskier still not to even try. Because eventually it will happen, someone will try, and then you'll be on the wrong side of the outcome, or at the very least behind the curve, and that is when you lose the initiative. Life is risky, as the poet Dylan Thomas said. Each day, do you actually say Thomas or Thomas? Because it actually is a TH, isn't it? Anyway, each day is always touch and go. No amount of corporate ass covering will ever change that. No amount of hiding will actually protect you from scary things. We are already fugitives from the law of averages. We are already marked for death from birth. When you realize this, you can stop being so precious, so concerned about every danger and every possible thing that can go wrong. All certainty is uncertain. You are not safe, you never will be. No one is. In putting safety above everything, we actually put ourselves in danger of being forgotten or never coming close, of being complicit. How will you handle the danger? What will happen to me? No one can tell you, but with courage, and you can say yourself, I'm not sure I'll get through it with my soul intact. I will make the best of it. I will not be afraid. But isn't being afraid also good? Isn't fear also good from time to time? Fear of dying, for example. There's a reason why we fear dying, and just heights and whatever it may be, and because we do not want to die. This is our instinct not to fucking die. But yeah, the scariest thing to be is yourself. It's ironic that a pioneering feminist like Florence Nightingale criticized women who tried to be like a man. Or man. Just be yourself, she was saying. We don't need anyone apishly imitating anyone else or instinctually rejecting anyone either. We all face other people's expectations and stereotypes. We resist this at the same time we can remember Seneca's advice. We don't need to buck the crowd on every single little thing. We don't need to be different for the sake of being different. Petulant rebellion can be its own kind of defense mechanism. But if we do, on the outside, look the same as everyone else, we better make damn sure that on the inside everything is different. That we are truly who we want to be, who we know deep down it feels right to be. So this is actually a really good question. Now, what is being right? Of course, it really depends on who you are, what you do, what you favor, what you don't do as well. What do you think is right for you? What is being the right person for you? Which type of person do you think is right, and which type of person do you want to be? Because we all want to be someone different. We all want to do something different. In the very just macro level, I'd say. Just maybe not necessarily literally, because of course there are certain tendencies. Certain groups of people like doing that, and certain other groups of people like to do this other thing. I don't know. But if we do on the outside look the same as everyone else, making sure that we are not everyone else. Because the courage to be different is the courage to think different, to see what others don't see, to hear what others don't hear. It is not a coincidence that so many whistleblowers are artists, and artists were weirdos. It was precisely their weirdness that allowed them to see what everyone else was unable to see. Be original, be yourself. To be anything else is to be a coward. Life happens in public. Get used to it. You put on the tights or tithes or whatever. You push through the stage fright, the fright that persists even after you have mastered the art of public speaking. You enter the witness and stand. You deliver the hard news to the assembled employees. You just learn to stop thinking about what they think. You'll never do original work if you can't. You have to be willing not only to step away from the herd, but get up in front of them and say what you truly think or feel. It's called public life for a reason. We don't get to succeed privately. Is it really the case? I don't know. I guess that, I mean, there are a lot of people that I don't know, at least. I just want to point out, I don't know them, that are really extremely wealthy. Which means, well, of course they're known to a certain group of people, maybe people that are really interested in a certain topic, maybe people that are in that space as well. I don't know what it may be. Of course, to some people they are going to be rather quote-unquote famous, I'd say. But we're all known to some people, aren't we? When we flee in the direction of comfort, of raising no eyebrows, of standing in the back of the room instead of the front, what we are fleeing is opportunity. When we I think the fear, when we let it decide what will and won't do, we miss so much, not just success, but actualization. And one last one. You can't be afraid to ask. We are afraid to open up. We are scared to share. We don't want anyone to know how we're feeling inside. And so all of us feel more alone. What strength it takes to beat back this fear, what pain is caused by the inability or the unwillingness to do so. When a student asks a question, what happens? They learn something they didn't know. When the friend reveals a vulnerability to another, what happens? The friendship gets stronger. When the employee admits the workload is too much, what happens? A hire is made and the company gets more efficient. When someone has the courage to speak about something shameful that was done to them, society is propelled into action. Someone can help them stop it. You won't get any of this if you don't ask. You won't get what you're afraid to admit you need, so ask now, right now, while you have the courage before it is too late. And with that being said, I'm gonna end the episode here.